Welcome back to the Bionic Bikers channel. Here we are at Cadwell Park. So as you can see, I'm on track with Sean, who's gone like a scolded cat. We've also got another social media friend here called Nathan. As you see, we're just getting a bit held up here, so trying to get past a couple of guys. There's Nathan on the right. Give him a follow. Right, so obviously we're at Cadwell Park, and the whole idea for this video was to follow Sean round and give him a few pointers, get some good footage for the channel. The issue what we've been having is we've been going out sort of quite late in the groups.
Oh, Sean, what?
So you get sort of held up and caught up, and it causes a few problems. So with this session, we managed to get out quite close to the front, so Sean was actually leading the group. So I come up to him and I sort of wanted to get a good couple of laps in with this Fireblade being fairly new to me. Wanted to get a good clear track, which I did. There's Sean on the left. Most of you probably follow him still, but yeah. So right, we're giving it a good go. So the whole reason behind this video, and we'll give it a different dynamic. Most of you probably be like myself, so quite competent, ride in advanced group, personal best on this Fireblade, bearing in mind we've done 3 evening sessions, a 1:38.4 on Cadwell, so it's reasonably good time, but I feel like I'm on the limit of the bike. Got no setup or anything yet, so I've just put some slicks on it, and this is my aim, to try and get it down to a 1:35, 1:36 if possible. So pushing and pushing and pushing, feeling the bike sliding around, moving all over. I thought to myself, what's the best thing to do here? So we obviously sat down with the bikers group, where we consulted a little bit, and we've pulled a few strings. We've managed to get a reasonable experienced racer involved, just to give us some tips. So this is more of when you're at your limit, this video, using the tips that are in this video, should get you to the next level. And I can already see with what he said, obviously I've watched this back already, but what he's saying, it makes perfect sense. So yes, you think you've got the perfect lands, and yes, you think you're braking really hard, but you're probably not in the right position on the track, or you're probably not in the right rev range of the engine for the corner that you're on. This guy, some people don't know him, he's got his own channel, so like I say, it does pop up in a second, but yeah. So Adam Shelton, a bit of past for him. So he has raced in ThunderSport CB500 Cup, and in that he set every lap record, absolutely obliterated the championship. With that he moved over to Supersport Championships, and he's also ridden for Swift's Kawasaki in Superstock, I believe. Like I say, fantastic. He's also done, he raced against Bradley Smith in the Red Bull Rookies, or the Superteens I think it was. It's going a long way back, like, because he's getting on like myself at the minute. So he's currently doing a lot of road racing, so he's just raced at Cochrane North last week at Oliver's Mount, where he set the CB lap record with being a 2:01. That's quite popular at the minute on YouTube, so go follow his channel, go give him a like. But he's going to jump in a minute. What he's going to do is he's just going to go through each corner. He pauses the video and he talks through it in a lot of detail. So for those that want to watch it, it's a reasonably paced lap. Watch it and enjoy it. But for those that want to progress a little bit more from an instructor's point of view, and that's a very good point. Adam also did instructors for Ron Haslam Race School, so I'm guessing that many people are aware of that. So, but yeah, from an instructor's point of view, he's very critical, and that's what I did say to him. Can you critique me on everything? I don't want you to go, yeah, that was great, no, and give me false pretenses of what I'm doing. So he has been very critical on this, and in some of the things that he's saying, a lot of it boils down to confidence, and only the confidence will only build over time, as you can imagine. So what I'm going to do now is pass you over to Adam. Enjoy.
So I'm going to start the lap from this point, just because on the quicker lap, we did get a bit of traffic just up Hall Bends there. And I feel like, you know, this is the this is the best place to start to give you a good run up the mountain and all the rest of it when you did it really well. So let's go, and yeah, hopefully this is helpful. So I think we both know that we missed this first apex. There's not a lot of feedback there needed. I would say I'll be running over a little bit further to the right and just gassing as late as possible, as early as possible, and just really getting as much power down so we can run out of here. And this one is the key. I think that we're probably in the right place on the track. The bike's just angled kind of the wrong way. It's a little bit kind of too much lean angle coming in from the right. What I would be doing is, the best way to describe it is, imagine somebody coming up your inside now and braking really hard and out braking you. What are they going to be doing? Well, they're going to be shooting for that apex. Literally, they're not going to be carrying any of an arc. They're going to be kind of straight lined, bolt upright, braking really hard, and just aiming for that apex. Now, the trick with this bus stop is not to aim for the first apex, it's to aim for the second one. Just literally use the first one as a guide, and you want to be braking all the way at the same kind of trajectory of angle on the way in, all the way to that second apex. So brake, brake, brake. We're off the brakes now here. Look, I would be using that extra bit of track to brake really late, and literally the moment we get off the brakes, here we want to be applying the gas just 1 or 2%. All we want to be doing is tightening the chain. We don't want to be causing any rear end slides, anything like that. We just need to feel where the grip is as early as possible. And by doing that, we just apply 0.5 to 1% gas, literally nothing. Just get that chain tight, get the weight starting to transition over to the rear of the bike. And as soon as it does that, you're all concerned about the rear tire at that point. You'll notice when I play the video now, just when we start to apply the gas, it is now. So we've lost maybe 4 or 5 feet. By doing that, we've had to apply the gas more abruptly, and that's fine for now. But as you get faster, if you continue to do it, when you do start kind of hammering that gas later on with a big throttle opening, that's when you're going to start to see kind of shock slides that kind of catch you out. So the big tip would be, let's get that gas on 1%, just really early. It doesn't have to be a lot, just giving you that ability to feel where that grip is on the back tire so you can start adding more gas. By the time I'm here coming out of this corner, I've already been on the gas 5 feet, and then for that reason, I've managed to accelerate a couple of miles an hour more, faster. I'm going to get more speed at the end of the straight, but when I am at this point of the circuit, I'm going to be carrying more speed as well, and it's going to be safer. So that's a big tip there, and you can pretty much use that everywhere you go, all the way around the lap. You'll hear me mention it a few times. Here I'd be further over to the right. I'd be really making use of that camber. I appreciate the thou is quite lazy into here. Bit of a handful, but what I did like what you did through this particular section is you held it in second gear, which is nice. You're in exactly the right place. That's good. Nice neutral bike through here. Really hard on the gas up this point. You're not going to get any wheelies at this part of the circuit, so I'd be getting as close to full throttle without spinning the thing up as possible at this point. This is nice. On the thou, I'd be just knocking it up to third just before hall bends and leaving it in third. It sounds counterintuitive, but it's all about inertia in the engine on the thou. So if you can knock it up to third, get the revs lower, that'll give you a much more agile bike through these corners. And that way, you know, you can just get through them faster without waiting for the bike to sort of lazily turn left to right. It sounds a bit wrong to do it, but it's a tip I got from a really well-known rider. And ever since I started doing it, the bike was so much easier through here. When the bike's screaming at kind of 11, 12,000 RPM, it really feels like a lot. So you'll see again where we apply the throttle here, we apply it quite a bit past the apex and it's quite abrupt. I'd bring it back further, but lighter. See? There we go. So here I'd be aiming for that first apex, and the really fast lads, I'm talking like Brad Ray's amazing final sector at Cadwell. Just as you go over that bump, as you turn in right, they are straight on the gas there and actually spinning the bike to turn it right and getting all the way off the front. This is a corner where if you're going to lose the front end on the way in, it's probably here. So the sooner you can get the weight off the front, the better. If you can start spinning the rear and just using the front to guide where the bike's going, literally there's no more consideration needed for how much grip you've got there. So it's safer, it's faster, and you can get on the gas earlier. On the Thou, you can use as much track as you like coming out. It doesn't really make much difference to your lap time. In fact, if you can use more track and use more gas, that'll be more lap time for you. Or less lap time. So coming through here, this was nice, track position's good. On the right here, I would aim to be just slightly further over to the right. It's a corner where you think kind of, where are my front tyre? Where are my tyres in relation to my bike and the track? Are my front tyres going to be on the track still if I'm over on the white line? Yeah. So I can use more track to the right. It's really fast and you've got to kind of aim at it at speed. So it does take quite a lot of laps to do it. But if I could, I'd get that knee over that apex and just lift it up because it's a really lumpy, horrible one. Just lift the knee up just as you get to it to just glide over the top. But I'd be aiming to have my kind of my footrests over the white line if possible. Again, just thinking, where are my front tyres? Where are my tyres? Sorry. Where are they on the track? You know, if they're still on the tarmac, it doesn't matter where my body is. I can get that over the grass. Here's a bit where you can really kind of take the piss with the throttle. The track's going uphill really like abruptly, so the bike weighs a lot. You can kind of really apply as much throttle as you can up here and just make use of that extra weight that you've got to get a bit more drive. I'd probably carry it over further to the left to arc in, a little bit more opposite to what I said to do at the bus stop chicane, because we're kind of going long and fast. We're trying to make one long corner out of the lot. See, we kind of stood it up and we've had 2 goes at it. So this is our second go. We're in Charlie 2 on another corner now. But if you fly in at it, you can kind of do it in one arc, and that's what I'd be aiming to do. Here, again, I'd be kind of further over to the right and applying the throttle nice and early to get the weight off the front tyre as the track drops away. What we don't want to be doing is asking a lot of the front tyre while the track's dropping away, because those 2 combinations is like a front end slide. So I'd be further over to the right. I'd try and get over the grass if possible, get that really little late apex, and then be gassing nice and early, 1 or 2% throttle at first, just to feel exactly where the grip is, and then just seeing if you can get to the feeling of the limit of the grip as early as possible, and then standing the bike up and adding as much throttle as you think you can get away with to kind of maintain that kind of slippery feeling at the end of the grip. It's really scary and hard to do it, but if you didn't get to the right over to the left apex on the exit of this corner, you could have applied more gas earlier or more corner speed, one of the two. It's usually more gas on the Thou, but you know, if you can get over to the right over to the left on the exit by means of more gas or more corner speed, there's more lap time to be had there. Park straight on the left, I'd be literally as far over to the white line as possible. Appreciate there's something that looks like a bit of an oil slick coming up here, so no doubt you're taking that into account, so I'm not going to judge too harshly, but I'd be over the left now, and then literally, yeah, as the track crests, you're always going to come a couple of feet over to the right, but just like you have done, I'd be immediately pulling it back to the left. I like what you did here. This is a really good line. Again, front tyre, the tyres are on the circuit, and we're really far over on the right. Our body's over the apex, which is great. Probably could use a little bit more track coming out on the left. Tipping in nice and late. And I love the way you kind of pulled it in here over the grass. That's brilliant. And you can just hear the back tyre scrabbling here, which is great as you get on the gas. See it there? Great. You want to just literally be hearing and listening for that and feeling for that everywhere, out of every corner, all the time. You want to be hearing and feeling that kind of scrabbling back tyre. If you're not hearing that kind of slip, you can add more gas. Just a couple of examples of what not to do and what to do when you do start to feel a bit of slip from the rear tyre. So this is totally exaggerated. I've got no TC on this bike, and I wouldn't recommend obviously getting this crossed up when you're trying to do a quick lap, but I was just trying to show, for the purpose of instructing, kind of what happens in both scenarios. So the first one is I'm going to chop the throttle when it starts to slide. So coming out, you can hear the back tyre scrabbling. I'm fully crossed up there, look, and then I'll chop the throttle, and you see how the bike kind of does a little high side and just points forwards. End up here and it snaps. So the next time when I go again, you can hear the bike scrabbling. Now And I'm going to keep that throttle open. I'm not adding any more throttle at that point. I'm just standing the bike up and letting the bike catch up to the speed that we're going. Just leaning off the inside, and then it exits really, really smooth. Still driving. You hear the tyre scrabbling? That's what I want to be listening to for. Obviously, that's like too much, and it will wear the tyres out going that crazy. But for the purpose of instructing, just exaggerating a little bit there on kind of what to do when that happens. You don't need to spin it that much, just a little bit, so you can hear kind of the back tyre scrabbling. So I hope this is helpful anyway. Here's good there. That's great. You can probably add more gas, let it run out a little bit wider for longer. The top lads are getting the front wheel over the white line here on the way in. It's quite hard to do, but just a tip anyway. I like what you did here. You made the turn before the track dropped away, which is good. I'd probably be a little bit further over to the white line here. Put the turn in later but tighter, a little bit less corner speed, but then apply the gas early on the thumb. Gas. Could use a little bit more track. So we kind of like stud it up a little bit early. We can let it run a little bit wider, more gas, and then I'd probably be tempted not to pull it over this far to the left on the way in. I'd probably be a foot or two further over to the right, try not to make so much of a turning effort with it all, and just literally hammering on the bikes in a straight line. I use loads of back brake here and just kind of drift it into the bus stop, just because, you know, when you do that, the front tire is kind of upright still and you can apply that much brake pressure. But if you're arcing it in and taking a long time turning it on the front, again, it kind of like just limits the amount of front brake you can put on. It feels really fast to do it, but it's a lot faster just to brake really hard, bolt upright, and just lob it in at the end. Again, listen for when we apply the gas after this apex on the left. So I would be applying the gas, ideally 1 or 2%, just tightening the chain, just getting a neutral bike, just so I can start feeling how much grip I can get away with putting through the back tyre, and I'll be applying it right about now. But then we listen now. So we've lost like 3 or 4 feet just coming out. I would work on really just getting a feel for that 1% gas. It doesn't have to be hard. It just has to be tightening that chain and understanding what the bike does when you're doing that right coming out the corner on the apex there. I'd just let it run out a little bit wider as well. So here I think we just banged up to third now by accident. So I'm not going to count this. Doing third up here, it gives you quite a lazy bike. A big tip with the Thou is I would never, even though you can spin the tyre at low RPMs because you've got torque, I'd always aim to have the RPMs higher so you can have a sharper motor. And what that means is, like, when you're applying the gas at low RPMs, using a big handful of throttle to get it to do the same thing. And that's okay. You will move from point A to point B, and you probably do that on the road all the time. But if you manage to spin the tyre at them low RPMs, the back wheel is going to catch up to where your wrist is. So the clocks are going to fire around. Let's assume you haven't got TC. The clocks are going to fire all the way around, and you're going to have a big, horrible spin and a big, horrible high side. Even if you've got TC, sometimes it doesn't catch it when you do it. So I would always aim to have the revs up sharp, right in the fat part of the power. So when you do apply the throttle, you only need 1 or 2% more than you would get away with to start spinning the tyre. That way, if you do get a spin, it's only a couple of mile-an-hour spin faster than you go, and it's not this big, horrible spin up. So that was a big thing that made a big difference to me. Even though you've got that power in the lower RPMs, just try not to use that big, lazy, wide throttle openings. Just keeping that revs up and nice, sharp throttle. So coming through here, somebody there, so I don't think it's fair to give much feedback on it. You're just trying to negotiate way around this person. But yeah, I think that's one complete lap really. I think we do get another run out of here. So just to reiterate on this one, I'd be hitting that first apex, and as soon as you finish that bump, the real horrible bump on the way in, and I'd be straight on the gas afterwards. Literally trying to spin that tyre, getting the weight off the front as much as possible, so you just don't need to consider it at all as the track drops away. When the track opens out, I'd be kind of trying to aggressively at the gas. I think we had a couple of goes at the gas then, but I'd try and like keep it going. Once you've opened the gas a certain amount coming out of a corner, you should never need to close it, only open it. If you do get a spin, don't close it, just leave it open, let the bike either catch up to the speed that you're going or just stand the bike up a little bit. It's really hard to do, but that's kind of like the thou way of doing it. Anyway, I really hope this is helpful. You can use it. If not, I hope there's good feedback anyway for you.
Right, so good bit of feedback there from Adam. Like I said, I've obviously watched the video back on. I do all the production work for Bike Bikers, so yeah, really grateful for his pointers, and this should hopefully lead on to another video where we are hopefully setting some PBs, and it's not about being the fastest track rider in the world. That's definitely not what it's about. It's about pushing yourselves to the next note, to past your boundaries, getting out of your comfort zone. So yeah, hope you like the video. Like and subscribe. You know, as we always say in each and one, it's only for a laugh, and it's just literally down to us, our general sort of track day lads, you know, road riding lads, just having a bit of fun. So yeah.